Hey guys, welcome to today's Vehicle Visionary. Today, my friends here at Mercedes-Benz of Shreveport have loaned me the 2021 version of the GLA. This is the GLA 250 we're going to take a look at today, and as other models roll into the dealership, we will make sure to feature those here on the Vehicle Visionary YouTube channel as well, but we'll focus in on the 250 for our video today. So what has changed for the 2021 model year? Well, quite a bit that you're going to see throughout the video, but off the top here are a couple of things that are noteworthy. Number one, the GLA is a little more SUV-like than it was in the past. And what does that mean? Increased space and increased comfort. And in addition to that, that also means increased off-road capabilities for those who may wish to take advantage of that. You will also find on the interior the MBUX system that you will find in the A-Class sedans has made its way to the GLA. And we'll go and look through that, take a look at all the different settings, and look at some of the interesting features that you may or may not know about that are available on the 2021 model of the GLA. Let's get started. When it comes to safety and security with the GLA 250, I'll list everything on the screen, but of course you're going to have features such as LED headlights and taillights, active brake assist, and a rear view camera, among other features. What's under the hood of this model? It's the 2-liter inline 4-cylinder. It's a turbocharged engine putting out 221 horsepower and 258 foot-pounds of torque. It's mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission, and the gas mileage is not too bad at 25 miles per gallon in the city and 34 out on the highway. Okay guys, of course you're going to have features such as keyless entry. You do have power folding side view mirrors, and I did have somebody recently ask if there was a blinker in the mirrors, and of course yes there is on this particular model, but here's something very interesting that you can use as far as opening your side windows. If it's really hot and you want to let some of that heat out before you get in your vehicle, or for whatever reason you want to do this, here's what you're going to do. If you hold down the unlock button just like this, what you're going to find out is that the windows will roll down. And then you hold down the lock button and they're going to obviously roll back up. But here's the nice part about that. When you let go of the button on the remote, the mirrors or the windows, I should say, are going to stop at the point where you let off. So that's a nice feature right there. And let me show you something else that you may not know about. And I hope that nobody ever needs this feature. Let me make sure everything is unlocked because you do have a locking gas door. But if you open that up, you're going to notice what's called the QR code right here. You might look at that and say, well, what do you do with that? And you could actually do this for yourself just to see how it works. But if you pull out your smartphone and actually scan that, and I'm showing you how to do that on your screen, the purpose of this feature is for first responders in the event of an accident where somebody has to be extricated. The first responders can scan that QR code with their phone, and they're actually going to get an image of where everything is located within the vehicle so they can avoid actually cutting through areas they don't need to, or maybe minimize what's done to the vehicle as far as extrication goes. Kind of an interesting little feature that you don't have to be a first responder to see how that works. You can do it on your phone just like I just did, just something that's kind of interesting. Now I'm curious to know, all of you watching this video, tell me down in the comments, how many of you paused the video and ran outside to take a look at your GLA or your Mercedes model, whatever that may be, to see if that was on there and tried it for yourself? I'm curious to know. Now, in the interest of fair reporting for those who may not know, and maybe you're looking at a GLA 250, the 2021 model such as this one, and you've watched my video, or maybe somebody else's, and you've heard us talk about the fact that there is a rear view camera. You start looking around back here and you can't find it. That's because it's concealed until you put this vehicle into reverse. And as you can see on your screen, the camera actually drops down out of its position of being concealed, hidden away, until you put the vehicle back into drive or park, and then it's going to go back up into its position. And now that we have the power rear lift gate open, we can talk about cargo space. It's not exactly hurting in the GLA. And you not only have cargo space throughout the rear of the vehicle that goes between 15 cubic feet, or if you lower the rear seats, you can go to as much as 50 cubic feet, but you can also increase that a little bit. You can pull the floor out. You can actually change its height and position, as you can see right there. I'll show you a better shot of that on the screen. And you do have a little more storage space underneath that if you want to put something there as well. There's also a couple of small spaces here with some netting on each side to keep whatever you can fit in there in place here in the rear. I am sitting straight up here in the back seat, and the reason for that is because at 5'10", I've got a lot of leg room here. The seat in the front on the passenger side is actually back pretty far, and I still have plenty of room. I can stretch my legs out nicely. I would not be cramped in here at all, and I have a reasonable amount of headroom even sitting straight up. You also have a nice amount of storage here. You've got the pockets on the rear of the seats. You've got the door bins. You've also got an armrest here that has cup holders built into the front. And as you can see, I was able to easily put a couple of water bottles in there, but there's more room than that. But those are concealed away until you need them. You do have the dual air conditioning vents here on the rear of the console. You also have 2 USB ports. No doubt that your passengers are going to be nice and comfortable. And of course, one of the ways you increase the legroom here, or I should say Mercedes has increased the legroom here, is if you see the back design of the seats, the way there's an inset here, that does actually help to give your rear seat passengers additional legroom. Okay guys, let's talk about some of the cool changes and notable changes that you're going to notice here in the front seat. And of course you have the same features such as driver and passenger power seats. And if you've never watched me before on these Mercedes videos, I'm going to show you something, if you don't already know about it, that once you see it, you'll never be able to unsee it. What exactly is that? It's how you adjust the power seats. These buttons here on the door panels, they're in the shape of the seats themselves, which makes it very easy to know exactly what you're doing, because you can see it, you know what position you're working with, what part of the seat, and all that good stuff. And there's something very interesting that I can't wait to show you that's actually going to be very helpful to you on long trips. We'll talk more about that when we get into the MBUX system. That is something that came over from the A-Class models now to the GLAs here at Mercedes. But we'll get to that in just a minute here. Of course, you have the 10.25-inch screen, ultra modern, ultra nice. But here's something that I know a lot of you have talked about on my past videos that you wish was available. You do still have the trackpad here, and I'll show you a little interesting thing about that in just a second. You have the trackpad that you can use as in previous years and models of Mercedes-Benz vehicles. You can also use the pads on the steering wheel to surf your way around with what's on the left-hand side. You've got the steering wheel mounted controls and everything here, cruise control and all that good stuff. In fact, something changed there too, we'll talk about in just a second. But on the left-hand side of the steering wheel, you can change and control and go through a lot of different information on the instrument cluster, the left-hand side of the screen. The controls for the right screen, if you want to keep your hands on the steering wheel, are done on the right-hand side of the steering wheel. Everything's very easy. You're just going to surf your way around on that pad and just basically scroll. It's kind of like a smaller trackpad, so to speak, and then you just push on that to make your selections. Very easy to use. But here's something that's good. I think a lot of you will like. The position of the cruise control has changed. It's no longer down here off the left-hand side of the steering column. It's here on the left-hand side with the steering wheel mounted controls on the steering wheel itself. A very nice feature. Now, when you're looking here, we've got the cup holders up in front of that. You've got a 12-volt power outlet, a USB port. This particular model does not have wireless charging, but if it did, it would be in front of that. But that's just kind of a little storage area in this particular model of the GLA 250 that we're looking at today. Of course, you have the climate control switches here and all that good stuff. But here on the trackpad itself, you have some buttons you can push to get directly to whatever you want to. It corresponds with what you push, of course, and instead of having to surf your way through, you can just push on those, whether you're wanting to go and look at what's going on with the vehicle or other areas as well. And of course, you always have the back and home buttons, but of course, you can also use the touch screen now with this GLA model. That is something that was missing in the past. A lot of people didn't necessarily enjoy using that trackpad, even though it's not hard to use. And for those who still want to use it as opposed to the touch screen that is now available, it's actually very comfortable. You see this little piece behind the trackpad? You're just going to rest your hand on there. It just makes it a lot easier to surf around and navigate your way around on the screen itself. Another interesting point of interest that I want to show you, or a notable point of interest, I should say. You're used to saying, "Hey Siri," or "Hey Cortana," or "Hey Alexa." Now you can say, "Hey Mercedes."
How can I help?
I'm cold.
I'm increasing the temperature on the driver's side to 61 degrees.
And of course, there are a lot more commands that you can go through with Mercedes to navigate your way around, make changes. You can work your way through your contacts list. There's a lot there. So let me reposition you in the back seat with the camera, and I'll actually give you a view of what's going on with the screen so you can see that for yourself. Okay guys, I hope you like your view here of the screen. So we're going to take a look at the right hand side screen, and like I said, this is a touch screen, so now you have the ability to use that the way that I know a lot of you have asked me about in the past and said you'd rather have the touch screen instead of using the trackpad. But now you have multiple options, and of course there's a lot of information here, a lot of things that are very easy to go through, very easy to figure out. And like I said, you can go through here, look at your apps, and that's what I just did, was just by pushing one of the buttons here next to the trackpad. That's very easy to go directly to wherever you may want to go. So multiple options here. And of course you have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto and all those good features that I know a lot of you like. And of course you have the settings for your vehicle here, including your lighting. But of course you can change assistance, you can go to vehicle, you can go to light. Let's go back to vehicle here and change your driving modes depending on what you may wish to do. Obviously there are multiple selections available here for driving. You've got eco, you've got comfort, sport, and manual. Of course, we can go back here. You can do the same thing with steering. You can also go and change the suspension settings, and just so many nice little features here depending on what you want to do. But here's one of my favorite features. Even though I do like to change the way the vehicle drives, you can change the lighting. You now have ambient lighting, 64 different colors. And let's go in and take a look at that. Of course, you can change the brightness here. You can change that to whatever you want. We're going to leave it there. But then you can go into your colors. And I'm going to just show you how easy this is to do on the screen. I'm just working my way around, selecting whatever color I want. You can use your finger to do that, or you can just touch it if you want to change it, just like that. And as you can see, it changes a lot of different areas of the interior, and the lights are nice and bright. But again, you can change the level of brightness if you want to. Now, let me go back to another area right here. Let's go to comfort. I'm going to show you something that I think you're going to like with seat comfort. Notice where it says Seat Kinetics right here on the screen. When that is activated, what that does for you is every few minutes, the seat is going to change position. on a long trip, that keeps the blood flowing, and it's going to help you to concentrate. It's going to help you to stay alert. Another really nice feature that's available with this MBUX system. So quite a lot of nice features here, but how exactly does the new version of the GLA drive? Let's hop out on the road and find out for ourselves. Okay guys, it's your turn. I want to hear from you. What do you think about the changes on the 2021 GLA? Is this something you own, an older version? Do you plan to buy a 2021 model? Tell me what your plans are. Tell me what you like, maybe even what you don't like. What would you like to see change in the future? And are some of the changes that we talked about today with the 2021 GLA favorable for you? Are they things you wanted to see? Maybe some things you didn't expect? I want to hear from you down in the comments section. I greatly appreciate my friends here at Mercedes-Benz of Shreveport, not only for loaning me this 2021 GLA 250 for the day, but also the access here to the photo booth at the dealership when it's nearly 100 degrees outside of Northwest Louisiana. And of course, I appreciate each and every one of you for being kind enough to spend some time with me here on Vehicle Visionary. I look forward to seeing you in my next video.